Hi, I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist, and I've received so many questions recently about the handshake instant induction technique. You know, we as hypnotherapists like to use things that are powerful and helpful and quick and very efficient. And sometimes when dealing with people in an office setting, a hypnotherapist will have to instantly induce a hypnotic trance in order to simply save time. Some people just don't have time. When I had my office in Beverly Hills and I worked with famous actors and so forth, a lot of times they would come in right before a shoot, right before they're going to go on film, and ask me to do what I could for them in the moment. Well, there wasn't a lot of time. Typically, in an office session, I like to spend an hour with my client, just relaxing them into hypnosis, doing a progressive relaxation technique, you know, relaxing from head to toe and imagining you're walking along the beach. And all of my recordings at stevegjones.com have that progressive relaxation, all of the hypnosis recordings. But sometimes it's just not practical. So the questions are, how do you get someone into an instant trance? And how do you do it using the handshake technique? Well, the handshake technique is very fascinating because all you do is walk up to someone and you're shaking their hand and they're going into hypnosis. At least that's what it looks like. But as I've been explaining in these videos, there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more finesse, there's a lot more technique, there's a lot more behind the scenes that you're not seeing when you see videos of people shaking someone's hand and putting them into a trance. First of all, they're picking someone who's very suggestible. I've already explained that in a few videos. And secondly, they're jolting them. When they're putting them into hypnosis, they're shaking their hand, but that's not the important part. In fact, the handshake induction can happen with or without the actual handshake. The important part is they're jolting them a little bit. Kind of stir them up, stir their reality a little bit, throw them off, and then you can say sleep and put them into hypnosis. Well, to add to that, you would test to make sure you have a suggestible person. You would jolt them, you would say sleep. Handshake is not necessary, but it does give you something formal to do while this is going on. But something you can add to that technique is talk to them before any of that and ask them to describe a time when they felt very sleepy. Every time they describe that a little more deeply, you say, ah, very interesting. So you're talking about sleep, and you pull on that arm that eventually you're going to jolt. So you're saying the word sleep and you're touching that arm when they're talking about being sleepy and when they're feeling being sleepy. So they're talking about a time when they're very sleepy and very relaxed, and you're touching their arm and saying sleep. So they're talking about being sleepy and you're saying, ah, very interesting story about sleep. Tell me more about that. And they talk more about it. Ah, I really enjoy you talking about sleep. So that way you establish an anchor. They're anchored to your touch and you saying sleep, reminding them of that sleepy feeling, because that's what they were talking about when you're doing that, when you're touching their arm and saying sleep. So when it comes time to actually put them into the hypnotic trance, when you're touching their arm and jolting them and saying sleep, it becomes more powerful. Now you have a few techniques going. You're jolting them, you're throwing their reality off. You've already anchored them that when you touch them and say sleep, they're going to feel sleepy. Now you have more power. So I hope that helps you add to your repertoire of handshake induction techniques and knowing more behind the scenes information about how it's done. If I can be of any help to you, please visit my website, stevegjones.com. I have over 3,000 hypnosis downloads that you can start enjoying right now. You can stop smoking, you can start losing weight, you can accomplish all of your goals using hypnosis. So I encourage you to check out the website that I've designed for you. Most importantly, you can get information about hypnosis and how to do it. stevegjones.com. I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist, hoping you have an outstanding day.
I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillac, no perms, you can't see.